Hello everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Salam alaikum. I am Jonas Sibony. I'm a French researcher and teacher. I'm a PhD in Semitic linguistics, and I specialized on Arabic dialectology, and more specifically, Judeo-Arabic dialectology. So I'm here today to explain to you what is Jewish Arabic or Judeo-Arabic. The first thing I have to say about that is that it doesn't refer to a specific language. Actually, Judeo-Arabic or Jewish Arabic are generic terms to call the Arabic dialects of the Jewish communities. The Arabic world is a world of dialects. You have from Morocco to Iraq many dialects. Every city has its own dialect, and every community has its own dialect of Arabic. And that's basically what happened to the Jewish communities in North Africa that we're going to talk about today. Every single Jewish Arabic community had its own way to speak Arabic. It doesn't mean that those dialects of Arabic, those dialects of Judeo-Arabic, have a common ancestor. It is more precisely that when you have a Jewish community in an Arabic-speaking city, they have their own way to speak the Arabic dialect of the city. So the Arabic world is a world of dialects. You have a dialect, for example, in the city of Fez, which is slightly different from the dialect that you have in the city of Meknes in Morocco, and it will be very different from the Arabic dialect of Jerusalem, for example. Every community has its own dialect. In the world of dialects, it means that every single group that sometimes spends some of its time apart from the rest of the community creates some specificities in its way to speak Arabic for what is the topic today. So the Jews in North Africa used to live in their neighborhood that we called in Morocco the Mellah, in Tunis, the Hara, and you have many other words to call the Jewish neighborhoods. But on those neighborhoods, the Jews used to live in a very Jewish life. First of all, they went to Jewish school, and they learned to write and to read only with the Hebrew script. So their very dialect of Arabic, they used to write down with the Hebrew letters. So that's the first specificity. What is different as well from the other dialects is that the Jews used to borrow lexicon to the Hebrew language. Not many words, and usually words connected to the religious or spiritual life or to the Jewish life in the Jewish neighborhood, in the Millah. I'm going to give you just a few examples. First example, the sentence فحال نهار تعباب. فحال نهار تعباب, you say about a very bad situation or a very bad day. And that sentence is composed from two words in Arabic and a whole expression actually in Hebrew. فحال is in Arabic. فحال means just like or like. Nahar is in Arabic as well. It means day. So فحال نهار, just like the day. تعباب. What is تعباب? تعباب comes from Hebrew Tisha Be'av, which is actually a date. Tisha means 9. Be is the preposition, and Av is the name of the Hebrew month of Av. So تعباب means the 9th of Av, which is a very badly known or very famous actually date in Jewish history, because it was the date of the destruction of both of the temples of the Kingdom of Israel's in ancient times. So when you say that a day or a situation is just like Tisha B'Av, it means that it's a very bad situation. Another example, if you want to talk about something that is very long, you can say that it is Twil Fhal Galut. Twil is in Arabic, means long. Fhal is the same word that I just used before, meaning like. Twil Fhal is long, like. Galut. Galut is a Hebrew word referring to the Jewish exile or the diaspora. So when you say about something that it is Twil Fhal Galut, it means that it is just as long as the Jewish exile out of Palestine, out of the land of Israel. So that's typically the kind of expressions that you can hear in the Judeo-Arabic dialects. And once more, it's Arabic with sometimes some Hebrew lexicon. In a world of dialects and minorities, sometimes you can have dialects inside the dialects, or which are the linguistic representations of the minorities inside the minorities. So in Judeo-Arabic, just as in other dialects, you have minorities inside of the community. And of course, the biggest minority would be the women minority inside of a man a man community inside a Jewish community inside of the Muslim community. So the language of the women in the Jewish community can be considered as a minority inside of the minority. Just like every other groups that spend time together and apart from the rest of the community, you can sometimes have specificities in the dialect of the Jewish women, and some specific expressions that you can hear only from Jewish women, and some of those expressions are related to mother's expression or grandmother's expression. I'm going to give you one example, which is a very famous sentence that every single Moroccan or Algerian Jew has in an Arabic-speaking family has heard. So that sentence is "Nemsik paralik." "Nemsik paralik" is usually a sentence that a mother says to her kids or a grandmother to her grandkids. And just as the other sentences, you have here three words. Two of them are in Arabic, actually the very structure of the sentence. "Nemsi," I will go, and "alik," for you. And the word in the middle of the sentence is in Hebrew, "kipara." "Nemsik paralik." So what is Kippara? Kippara is a Hebrew term connected to the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur. Kippur, Kippara. Kippara is the name of the sacrifice that you will do for that day of Yom Kippur, usually to send your sins of the year into an animal, which is called the Kippara. So when a grandmother says to her grandkids that she will go Kippara for them, it means that she says that she's gonna sacrifice for instead of the kids. She's gonna take all the sins of the year of the kids on her shoulder. So that's a very specific expression, which is from the dialect inside the dialect of Moroccan Arabic, women Judeo-Arabic. So that basically that was the explanation of what is Judeo-Arabic or Jewish Arabic. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in a few days for the festival. And just as we say in Moroccan Arabic, to say, okay, that's what it is, that's what Judeo-Arabic is, that's what it is. Hatchili King, Slama.